Another week of really incredible news. Of course, you remember back to Easter weekend when we were during the pandemic and people wondered, because of all the crazy things that were happening, have we lost our constitutional freedoms? And then really the shot heard around the country, the lawsuit heard around the country. We filed a lawsuit in Louisville. We won on Easter weekend that very important victory, protecting all churches to have drive-in services that are very safe. It was it was really the first of these kinds of victories in a pandemic. Well, we're now in phase 2. We're in the phase of people opening up, churches opening up, businesses opening up, and we have just won another really landmark decision, historic decision on behalf of churches. In Kentucky, the federal judge has just ruled in our favor. Not only has he ruled that these kinds of orders, as the governor issued, are unconstitutional, and in this case, the order would say, for instance, that you could be in a crowd at Home Depot or at a liquor store, but a church could not have a safe opening service, in service, even if they have social distancing and everything else. That would actually be a crime. And that's discrimination. You can't treat the church or houses of worship differently or as if they have lesser rights. In fact, they're specifically protected by the First Amendment. So we not only won a victory for Tabernacle Baptist Church, our client, but the judge also issued a statewide injunction protecting all churches across the state. Again, never happened in the history of our country. This is a very significant victory. But there are many more of these to come, unfortunately. And that is, the governor of Illinois has said he's not going to allow churches to meet again until there's a vaccine. That could be over a year. So we're having to do many other cases. We also had a great victory in the state of Washington, which the governor's order there literally prohibited all religious gatherings of any sort, even 2 people. And we had 2 people that said they just wanted to have a Bible study outside, 10 feet apart. We filed that. The governor refused to back down, but as soon as we got in the TRO hearing in front of the federal judge, they conceded. Now, this is a great victory there, but we have got to stop these kinds of orders that abuse people's freedoms and that chill. So many people are just scared and they never bring a lawsuit. Very important victory. Also, last week, you probably heard, if you didn't, judicial nominations are back in swing in the Senate. We are still involved in making sure we can do everything we can to get great judges on the court. And you might have heard one of the highest level courts in the country, the D.C. Circuit, there was a major nominee up, Judge Justin Walker. Judge Justin Walker was the judge who ruled in our favor in that landmark decision in Louisville. Excellent decision, very strong decision on religious liberty. I encourage you, in fact, if you haven't read that opinion, you'll totally understand it. Make sure you read it. We've got it on our website. It's something I think everybody should read. But just a few weeks ago, religious liberty probably would have been very little of his confirmation hearing. It was probably half of his confirmation hearing, and our support was played heavily as well, that we were in favor of Judge Walker to be on one of these highest courts in the country. Additionally, what's coming ahead is we're having to file a letter to protect the liability, the frivolous lawsuits that would be coming against churches and houses of worship. And so the letter I'm holding right here, we'll be filing in Congress today, not only with Congress, but with our President and Vice President. It includes people like, we wrote the letter, it's a legal letter, but we've had signers, and it includes Franklin Graham, Al Mohler, Dr. James Dobson, leaders, rabbis, leaders of churches and major religious organizations, hundreds of them from all over the country coming together to make sure we can get our houses of worship and our churches back open, safely, but back open. So this is a really important phase that we're in right now, the reopening phase. And I just want to thank you. If you've been involved in supporting this, you've been a part of history. What we're doing right now has never occurred, and it's very important that the new normal as we come out of this pandemic is not one where we have less freedoms, less religious freedoms, less First Amendment rights. That's very important. The other thing I would tell you that's coming ahead is Military Appreciation Month is this month, and you'll be seeing us talk about that. We've had to do a number of things protecting chaplains and others right now that are being told they can't post videos that mention God or other things. So that battle is still going on, but we want to remember our military, all they do for us, the freedoms that they need to have. So we're actually going to have a special First Liberty Live, where you can watch. You can be on Mike Berry and special guests he'll have in the military to talk about these issues, what is going on. That is May the 21st. Be watching for it. sign up and make sure you're watching that. It's something you won't want to miss. It'll be very memorable, and it'll be a way to spread this information around to others who don't realize that there's even a place for those in our military to turn when their religious freedoms are violated. Encourage you also, if you're not, or maybe you are, but you have other friends who don't get the weekly newsletter by email, make sure they sign up for that. It's called our Insider. Great information. It's a great way for other people to know about their freedoms. And again, I just want to tell you, if you haven't been involved in supporting us at this time, I encourage you to do so. It's a great time to be a part of really making history and what our future is going to look like for our churches, for our religious freedom. If you have, thank you so much. Thank you for being a part of really an historic time. And let us know if we can help you in any way, or if you hear of any churches or houses of worship or anyone else coming under special attack right now. We've got to stand strong and make sure we come out of this well. And God bless you. Thank you.